This is Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University, and today I wanted to talk about Monero as hot potato money. This is the metaphor of something that's too hot to hold in your hand, so you have to toss it to someone else. I would say that Monero does employ some very cool cryptography, and I do also want to say at the outset that the Monero community is quite intelligent, serious, and privacy minded. That being said, Monero, I believe, is a dead end. Because money converges to one, money is a winner-take-all game, and Bitcoin has already won that money race. Just not everyone has figured it out yet. I think this chart tells you everything you need to know. This is a chart of Monero versus Bitcoin. As the chart moves down, that means that Bitcoin is strengthening against Monero. We can see that the trend has been really since 2017, 2018, Monero losing value against Bitcoin, and also on dwindling volumes. We can see the volume bars here at the bottom, and the volume has been falling off in recent years as fewer people use this exchange rate. There's this idea that you should save in Bitcoin, and then if you want to spend a bit more privately, maybe convert some of that Bitcoin to Monero for spending purposes. And what I want to argue in this video is that's really a bad idea. And I'll give you a couple examples here. For example, let's say you have 0.1 Bitcoin, you convert it to Monero in order to spend. The thing is, you want to spend that Monero immediately because it's constantly losing value against Bitcoin. Now, if a merchant accepts your Monero, he or she also doesn't want to hold that Monero for any length of time because it's constantly losing value against Bitcoin, as we've seen in this chart. So the merchant converts that Monero back to Bitcoin, or the merchant's suppliers do. And what happens when you're moving in and out of Monero like this can leak a lot of information. So if you do 0.1 Bitcoin to Monero back to 0.1 Bitcoin, especially if that happens in a short period of time, it's pretty easy for the chain surveillance companies to make some sort of correlation between these things, even though they're occurring on different chains. So what's a good way to obscure these connections if you want to save in Bitcoin and then spend in Monero? The only real solution is you hold that Monero for a longer period of time before spending it. But again, no one wants to do this because Monero is usually losing value against Bitcoin while people are holding it. So this is very important to notice. This is a fundamental incentive problem that no amount of fancy privacy cryptography can solve. And this is what a lot of Monero people miss because they're very, very smart, but they don't understand the economic implications of this. Monero's ring signatures, Monero's confidential transactions, they do not do you any good when you need to be constantly moving in and out of the currency in order to avoid currency devaluation. Another thing to think of as well is the anonymity set. How many Bitcoiners are there globally? How many Monerans? I'm not sure that's the right term, but Monero community people. Which group offers the larger anonymity set? If they're just two people in the world using the most private currency in the world, they're not exactly hiding in a large crowd. Obviously, Monero has more than two people using it, but this is a problem. The anonymity set is much smaller. If you're enjoying this video so far, I just ask you to please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video, and share this video with a friend. This isn't just my concern. This was also a concern that's been cited by many Monero people, saying that if you swap Bitcoin for Monero frequently or back and forth, it could leak some information. There's more on that in this article, which I'll link to in the description notes below. But there's another problem as well. Monero's entry and exit ramps are being closed as we speak. OKX delisting the top 3 privacy coins in early January. Monero Zcash's liquidity dries up as Binance eyes delisting privacy coins. This is from January 12th of 2024. You don't achieve global adoption by having all of your major fiat on-ramps and off-ramps closed. This would be less bad if Monero had already developed a robust global circular economy, but it hasn't, and it certainly hasn't to the extent that Bitcoin has done. By contrast, Bitcoin is the Trojan horse that enters the fiat financial system and subverts it from the inside. Wall Street's now driving huge flows into Bitcoin. Larry Fink and the new Bitcoin ETFs are making Bitcoiners who hold real BTC not hold the ETF, making them wealthier and thus increasing their purchasing power and their political power. Obviously, a lot of Bitcoin and Monero people don't like this kind of institutional adoption, but Bitcoin is for everyone, and this is what global adoption looks like. You can't just have a currency with cypherpunks and libertarians because it's still a very small percentage of the population. So this is the real path towards global adoption. Lots of people using Bitcoin and Wall Street entering Bitcoin as well. When is there going to be a Monero ETF? Absolutely never, at least in the US, probably never anywhere. And a lot of Monero people will say that's fine. We don't want the Wall Street guys. And that's understandable, but you have to understand if you want global adoption, you need products as well. You need Bitcoin or Monero to find its way into every nook and cranny of the financial system. So Monero remains the hot potato that exchanges and institutional investors don't want to touch because the regulators put so much pressure on them. And this is a real problem for adoption. If you hold Monero instead of Bitcoin as a result of this, you're effectively impoverishing yourself over time as this exchange rate continues to move down. And by doing this, you're removing yourself from the economic game, however noble your intentions. And I would say a lot of the Monero people do have very noble intentions when it comes to fighting back against the government and also privacy concerns. I would encourage Monero people, though, to come over to Bitcoin. This is where I believe they should be building and contributing. The Bitcoin community could really benefit from more privacy-minded individuals. Another fact, more merchants accept Bitcoin globally than Monero. And people will want to hold the money that has the largest circular economy. Merchants who earn Bitcoin will also want to spend using Bitcoin. It's these network effects that are extremely powerful and are another reason why Monero continues to bleed value against Bitcoin. The more Monero bleeds value against Bitcoin, the fewer people want to hold it. And this vicious circle, as we saw in that initial chart, has been playing out for the past 5 years and can't be stopped at this point, unfortunately. The train has already left the station, and it is Bitcoin. It's not Monero. If people don't want to hodl your money, a circular economy can never develop. If people don't want to hodl your money, it's bad money. And as a result, we can see that Monero is unfortunately bad money. It's hot potato money. So if you're holding Monero, this can be hard to hear hot potato, but I'm going to refer you to another therapist. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.